Hi everybody, welcome to my latest video. We've just had a little surprise bout of rain, which was very welcome, so it's nice and cool, but it's actually been very brutal up until now, and I've been pushing through the heat to do some pretty good work, I think, on the Craic Shack. I've also done some stuff in the garden. I finally solved the irrigation puzzle, and I come up with a solution that isn't anything like what I had planned, but it's gonna work, I think, better than the sprinklers. We go down to Chenade and visit her place and see what she's been doing down at hers, plus we wander over to her water source and her lake and see what the builders have been up to, and the progress down there is amazing. Plus I take you to a really fun cherry festival as well, and all in all I think it's a fabulous video and I hope you enjoy it. Good morning, folks. It's less than a week until I head to Scotland, and the panic is starting to set in because I'm not going to be able to relax until I figure out this irrigation. Fortunately, I went to town yesterday and I got a bag of goodies that hopefully will help solve the problem of the sprinkler not actually watering the garden but shooting over it. I have a different type of sprinkler, but unfortunately it's not the one that I was hoping for. I was looking for the one that goes shh, 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 and this one is one that goes shh, I assume. So I'm gonna hook it up and see if it's any good. And while I'm down in the garden, I'm gonna plant these lovely cucumbers that I've been growing here in the greenhouse, and that'll be the final thing that goes in the garden. I also have some basil and some kale. I'd love to get rid of this table completely, tidy up a little bit, and make space to finally get the wood that's in my mezzanine out of my house and into here. So I have a full morning of fun activities planned down in the garden, and hopefully more work on the Craic Shack as well today, and just basically very, very busy times ahead before my departure for Scotland. So I've given away a whole bunch of chili plants and tomato plants to friends, but I still have a very full wheelbarrow of stuff. Hopefully I can find space in the garden. So I have cardboard under this straw, and to make planting way easier, I want to soak it so that I can smash through it with the shovel a lot more easily. And I'm going to be packing this garden bed with cucumbers, and then I also have kale, a chili plant, and a tomato plant to go into either this bed or maybe I'll find space somewhere else. And anything that's left over, I'm going to take it down to Sinead's place because she has a cracking garden going. She's solved the irrigation problem. She's done drip irrigation, and it's all working really, really well. I just didn't have time to mess around with drip irrigation, so I'm going for an alternate solution, but I feel like what she's come up with has been probably the right way to go. And once I got these cucumbers in the ground and figure out whether the sprinkler's gonna work for me or not, we'll take a wander down to her place to see what she's been up to, because it's really very impressive. So you guys know that I love an experiment, and so in this garden bed, partially due to experimentation, but if I'm honest, mostly due to laziness, I'm just gonna have these as crawling cucumbers instead of building a trellis, and it's gonna be fun to compare how they do. I might also leave these ones unpruned and let them go a little bit mad, and yeah, just see the difference between trellised pruned cucumbers and a bed of free, crazy cucumbers that can do whatever they want. And yeah, whatever works best is what I'll go with in the future, because I love growing cucumbers, I love pickles, and the more I have, the better. I'm also planning to pack them very densely because I have them, and why not? Plus I have some other stuff over here that I might try to fit into this bed, so it could be a party in here by the end of the day. This is where I am right now, and I have a lot of work to do, so the camera's going away, and I'll see you soon when it's done. The cucumbers are in, and I managed to sneak in a kale there, another one on the end. I put a few more cucumbers over in the trellis bed, and snuck a few things in over by the blueberries, which we'll see in a minute. So I'm gonna take the rest of these plants down to Chenade, and this is gonna happen when I get back. So I've got all the bits, and I'm hoping I can sort out the irrigation. But right now, let's go on a trip down and see what Sinead's been up to. Actually, before I head down, an observation. I already feel like this irrigation solution of firing the water all over the place is not going to be the best solution, not only because it's a waste of water, but also because I have a feeling I'm going to be picking out weeds all the time. Things are going to get messy, and it's already started. So I'm starting to see the point of drip irrigation, even though it is going to be a bit more of a pain to set up and not something I can do before I get back from Scotland, but it could be a goal for next year for a variety of reasons. But anyway, I'll worry about the weeds later on. I'm anxious to get down and show you what Sinead's been up to. So let's take a wander. I'll see you down there in a minute. Okay, I'm down at Chenade's. Those plants are gonna go somewhere in her amazing garden, which we're gonna take a look at in a minute. First, I wanna show you another wonderful thing she's been working on. I'm very impressed. It looks amazing. And it's
my functional office
/ kitchen. Amazing. So you whipped this up, what, in a few days?
2 days.
2 days of hard work, hard labor.
2 days, whipped her together. Well, she's obviously not finished.
I mean...
Is anything ever finished? No.
That is the theme.
But now the finished shelving here, finished shelving there.
That's amazing shelving.
And then
more shelving. The roof, again, not yet finished, but it's going to look spectacular. And just everything is wonderfully laid out and functional. So
I'm most excited about moving everything from in there and in there and in here and having everything in one area.
That's good. It's good to have all the stuff in one area.
Everything is all over the place at the moment.
Are you going to have space for all the cans and the food and all that stuff in here as well?
Everything food related is coming in here.
Amazing.
And then in next door will be a pantry, and I'm thinking of setting it up as my office.
The pantry is the office.
I think so.
Currently this is the kitchen / office, and that's because it's the coolest place?
This is the coolest place. In there, it does kind of get warm, but what really heats it up is if I use the oven.
I see. So you've got some ventilation here, so the oven should...
So here is quite cool, so maybe I'll just go between here and there. But the yurt is definitely not the coolest place.
It's good to have options. Drill holder, computer, coffee, and all of the things. So I just wanted to stop in and show your hard work. And now I'll let you get on.
Now let's go to work.
Get on with your work. Bye-bye. So Sinead's been working really hard. Not only does she have an actual job that keeps her busy, she's also been really going for it in the garden and also overseeing the build at her place. Although she's not doing the work on the stuff, the guys are doing some seriously heavy stonework, but she's been helping out here and there. And I've got a lot to share over there as well. But let's start with the garden because it's pretty impressive. So after some chats with the local water people, a shop in Castella Branco called Irrigation, they advised Sinead on all the stuff she would need to buy to set up drip irrigation. And they advised her well, because I wasn't entirely sure that a system like this, with not very much lift, would have enough gravity to feed all of these beds down the way, all the way down to there. But because they advised her to use this thick black hose all the way down, and then the smaller pipes running off of it, that seems like it's gonna do the trick. So the irrigation is working well, and all she does is turn that tap on for 1 hour every day, and she turns this tap on to fill it from that tank over yonder, and it does the garden. And she's obviously planned things very well. My garden's already in place. I already had all the straw and the cardboard down, so sticking the pipes underneath all that stuff after the fact would have been very annoying, but she's managed it. And yeah, I gotta say, I have some garden irrigation envy. She's got lots of wonderful things in here. She's got cucumbers on the way, lovely little trellis, pumpkins for days. One of the builders has given her loads of pumpkins from his own garden, and it looks like they're doing really well. I think this is broccoli over here. Maybe that's a zucchini, maybe it's another cucumber, I'm not sure. Sunflowers as well. She's got a sunflower wall on the go over there too, and it's just all looking really, really great. And I'm happy to see she's doing the comfrey thing at the base of the trees as well, because that's just a really great plant for a lot of reasons. So the garden's amazing, and so's the building. So before I head up to the building and the lake and the water feature, I wanted to stop off at this remarkable fig tree. This thing was out of control 2 years ago. It looks crazy now, but it's actually way better than it was. And Chenade and I gave it a super hard prune, and it didn't give any figs at all last year, but now it looks like it's absolutely packed, and these are the best figs. They're the purple ones. I love these ones. The fig tree that I have is the yellow figs, and there are some enormous ones. Look at that guy. So Chenade has brought up a couple figs for me, and I'm gonna do a little taste test later on, but this tree is absolutely magical. There's gotta be hundreds, if not well over 1,000 or more figs on this thing. And it really is nice to see it doing so well, because when you're pruning stuff for the first time, you never really know if the tree's gonna like it or not, and we're definitely not massively experienced. So obviously this tree has loved it, because I don't think I've ever seen a fig tree with this many figs on it, and many of them look like they're ready. Plus it's just really cool to go in here. Fig trees, I think, are beautiful, and it's just, yeah, just a nice little spot inside here. Anyway, enough about the figs. I'm gonna snack on one later on and do a little taste test. Let's head up to the building and then on to the water feature, which I think is spectacular. So here's the building, and work on this actually ended maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've already given you a sort of walkthrough in a previous video, so I'm just gonna give you a quick glimpse, and then at some point in the future, hopefully Sinead will give us a little tour of her vision. But the next step is gonna be waiting for the walls to arrive. They're straw bale walls that are gonna sit on top of that structure coming out over the porch bit, and it's also gonna extend out to that foundation there. So lots still to do, but the progress has been amazing. And the same guys that did the stonework on her house had some extra time, and they added on a whole other job that they weren't planning for, and built what I think is gonna be one of the most amazing features of Chenade's property. And that's this little water reservoir, which they did in maybe 3 days. It's really remarkable to see a professional at work doing their craft, and I think it looks so cool. So the water mine is still accessible through a hatch. She needs to put a tap somewhere, and it's gonna close off the water so that the water mine level raises up, and it's gonna come out of that little hole into a sort of waterfall into this reservoir, and then eventually somehow it'll all lead to the lake. And she has some grand plans to build a deck. She's a deck pro. She's done her yurt. She's done the foundation for her bathroom and a few other things as well. So she'll do a deck with some steps down. And that little pool area just is lovely. It's shaded by the fig tree, and it has a nice view over to the lake. And speaking of the lake, it's looking pretty amazing as well, though this year the lake will be dedicated to the wildlife, and she's not going to worry too much about trying to make it swimmable. She's gonna observe, see how it goes, and eventually there'll be other things as well happening here. There might even be a little bridge across. Who knows? But she's got a blank canvas, and I think it's gonna be amazing. So that's the update from Chenade's. It's looking fabulous. I love this so much. It's very inspiring. The house looks great. And everything is just looking really wonderful. And it's nice to be able to come down and share what she's been up to as well, because it's quite different to what I'm doing. So, enough of Chenade's place. Time to go back up to mine and see if I can figure out this irrigation. Okay guys, it's irrigation time, and I have grand plans to use this gizmo to have a bunch of different hoses and a bunch of different sprinklers. But for the moment, I'm just going to see what this thing is capable of, hook it up to this, and see what it does. I gotta say, I don't have a lot of faith in it. It was maybe about €7 or €8, and it feels very flimsy, and I can't imagine it's amazing. But let's see what it can do, and let's set it up with the snap. Okay, that didn't take long. I had this little teeny bit of hose that I had chopped off to take with me to the shop, because of course there's all different sizes of everything, and I like to be sure. So it's ready to go. Eventually I'll hook this guy up to this guy, and in theory I'll have some hoses running off with a few different sprinklers all set to a timer, but those are projects for another day. Right now, let's just see what this sprinkler looks like, and let's do it the snappy way once again. Okay, so it seems to have an okay coverage. It's not going crazy far, but at least it does go a bit vertical and then back down, so it's not going to get stuck on other vegetables, and it's not going to fire completely over the garden. I feel like there's several settings to this thing, so... Okay, that one. That one got me. That one seems a little better. Doesn't go far, but at least it's better than nothing. Oh, that one just goes over that way. So it looks like I have some options. Okay, that one keeps it lower. So perhaps a combination of this type of sprinkler in different locations for different purposes might work. Although it doesn't really seem very powerful, so I don't know, guys. I don't have a lot of faith. I don't have a lot of faith. I feel like to water the entire garden, I probably would need quite a few of these bad boys. And I think the best setting is maybe that one? Yeah, that one seems pretty good. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's actually thundering right now. And it looks like we've got some rain clouds coming, so maybe I won't need any sprinklers today at all. But yeah, I think that setting's good, and if I can't find the sprinkler that goes this way, then maybe if I pick up a few more of these things, that'll give me some decent coverage. So this is actually quite refreshing, and I think the garden might like it. But I'm just gonna set off the rest of the hoses off camera because I don't actually have any other sprinklers to attach to the end of the hoses, so it would be fairly anticlimactic to watch me doing that and then not have a result at the end. So I'm gonna leave the rest of the irrigation work for another day until after I have a chance to go into town. And right now I'm just gonna work on the Craic Shack off camera. I bought some brackets so I can attach the pieces. I also think I'll do some planing for the rafters and just get on with it because I'm busy, and later on tonight I'm heading to a cherry festival and I've got lots to do before then. So I'm gonna turn the sprinkler off, and before I get to work in the Craic Shack, we're gonna do a taste test. It's time to try one of Chenade's figs from her tree. But you think that's a fig? That's not a fig, guys. That's a fig. These things are insane. Have you ever seen a fig so big? This thing is enormous, and I hope it's delicious because the purple figs are my favorite. And we've got hundreds of them down there. Look at that. All maggoty looking and weird, but very tasty. Yeah, figs are very strange. It's taken me a while to adapt to the weird worm-like interior, but it's worth it because so sweet, so delicious, so gigantic, and yeah, we are going to be eating a lot of figs in our future. Great stuff. I didn't like figs when I first got here at all, not even these yummy purple ones, but they've grown on me, and I think I'll be eating plenty of fresh figs and definitely open to other ideas of what to do with them. I think rather than drying these ones, we'll turn these into other things, maybe eat them with cheese, turn them into jam. I'm open to ideas. Chutney, is fig chutney a thing? I'm not sure, but I have a feeling we'll just end up munching a lot of these ones directly from the tree. So, it's been a lovely morning in the garden. The irrigation is going okay. I'm actually wondering now whether or not the pump will be strong enough to power 3 or 4 sprinklers at once. Who knows? Again, it's all just a learning experience and a frustrating one at that, but let's see what other sprinklers I have in town. I think I might try to go tomorrow, and perhaps I'll have this thing set up in the next couple days. But right now I'm going to finish my figgy snack, attach these brackets onto the pieces that I cut for the front of the Craic Shack. I might plane some rafters, and I'll show you the results tomorrow after hopefully a fun evening at the Cherry Festival. Hello guys from a brand new day. The cherry festa was amazing. I'm definitely off to a bit of a slow start today as a result. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm actually soaking wet. It feels refreshing, so that's a good thing. But the reason I am is because I couldn't figure out the sprinklers yesterday. The pump isn't strong enough to fire more than one sprinkler, and so I left it, and then today I just was dragging the one sprinkler I have around to different parts of the garden, tinkering with the settings and just trying everything I possibly could, and I couldn't figure out how to make this work the way I needed to. It just was wasting way too much water, and I got soaked in the process, but that's okay because it's super hot and it feels refreshing. Luckily, I managed to come up with a different solution, and I think it's actually going to work better than a sprinkler. So I'll show you guys that a little later on. Right now, I have another job to tackle. And that's to tidy up the messy polytunnel. It's gotten crazy again just because it's become a dumping ground for all of the seedling stuff that I used and discarded in the back. I also got attacked by wasps earlier and ran away, and that thing fell over. And just in general, there's lots of clutter here. So my goal is to clear this out, make space over here so I can move wood from my mezzanine inside the house into the polytunnel and clear space in there. And the snap is coming out once again. Okay guys, done. And that was the easy part, and it's definitely done to a very dubious standard. I've just crammed everything down there, and I realized I should probably take this sage, it's nice and crispy now, and stick it in a jar. It smells amazing, and it'll be good for teas and other stuff. So everything down there, we won't discuss that. But right now it's time to put the wood that's in the mezzanine into the polytunnel as much as I can fit to try to clear out the house. And I also want to put it there so I know exactly what I'm dealing with, because I might want to try to make a little pump house on the side of the IBC before I go to Scotland. I haven't decided yet, but having all the wood laid out will make that a lot easier. So let's do this the snappy way as well. Okay, done. That took a lot longer than expected, as with most things. The sun is setting, it's about 7:30. And as you can see, I have a whole bunch of wood that's been removed from the mezzanine down to here, and a lot of it is this sweet chestnut that I totally forgot about. And I don't know what my plans are for that, but it's going to be fun to do something, maybe fencing, perhaps garden pergolas, something creative like that. And the polytunnel, it's not looking amazing, but it's definitely looking much better than it did before. It makes me feel so good to finally get that wood out of the mezzanine and into the polytunnel. It's been up there for years, and it just looks terrible. It's dusty, and I wasn't able to actually access some pretty good pieces of wood to use. Everything was buried under itself. It was a mess, and it was impossible to actually access anything, including these little pieces here, which are going to be very important. These pieces were hiding up in the mezzanine under everything else, and as you can see, it's what I'm using to make the wattles for the wattle and daub wall. So there'll be clay eventually stuck onto this, and it'll all be plastered. But the problem was that I didn't have enough of those pieces to continue, because when I made an order, the wood guy accidentally gave me different ones, and it would just make the process very hard to use different thicknesses. So I'm really happy I discovered these, and that means that rather than working on a pump house tomorrow, I'm going to continue on with the wall sections. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun job, and I'm also going to get the uprights in as well that I haven't put in yet. And it's just nice to have the little win of having all that wood moved, especially after the irrigation debacle, because I have not been successful at all. Actually, let me clarify. I wasn't successful with the sprinklers, but I did find an alternate solution. Hello, little sunflowers. These are the first ones to appear. This is going to be amazing once they all start popping up. So I tried the sprinklers and I failed. They wouldn't fire more than one with the pump I have, and it just didn't cover properly. It didn't spray. I couldn't figure it out. It was just super frustrating. However, I have another solution, and the pump is on. So all I have to do now to water is turn this water on here. The pump will fire automatically. And I found this crazy hose in the polytunnel. I totally forgot that I bought it. It's definitely no good using gravity, but it's great when you have a pump. So this thing is really powerful. It fires the water out at great speed. you barely even have to walk around the garden. You can kind of reach most things from most places. And so what this means is that even though it's watering by hand, it's going to be incredibly, incredibly fast. And so I hope this is a good compromise for Chenade. I actually do really love watering by hand, and for me this is going to be amazing because I can come check out the plants, take the suckers off the tomatoes, prune the cucumbers, and basically just give everything a water, and it's really quite satisfying watching it fire so far. And so it's not like the sprinkler where some things would be missed and you'd have to sort of check and see what got water and see what didn't get water. This, I can see it all with my own eyes, I can observe the plants, and I can make sure the things that need a good soaking get a good soaking. And I think it's going to happen at speed. I'd say the garden probably is only going to take about maybe 10 minutes to water maximum. So I gotta say, this hose with the pump, I think that even though my irrigation solution hasn't worked, this could be a winner. So things didn't quite go as planned, and this solution cost me time and money that I really don't have right now. But one advantage is that I think those sprinklers are going to be really good for fire safety. So if I can get the big sprinkler that I have set up on the land somewhere that makes sense, if there's ever a threat of a fire, I can just stick it on and soak a decent area around my house. So while I do feel like drip irrigation could be the way to go long term, I think this is going to be okay for the moment. So that's the garden stuff. I'm going to sign off on any irrigation work for the moment and shift focus back to the Craic Shack, where tomorrow I'm going to continue on the walls. So I'll see you guys then. Hello guys, from a new day. It's actually the evening and the Craic Shack has been underway mostly off camera, where I've just been powering through with lots of stuff. I've basically been attaching many uprights around the window. I put the window frame in. I've been out here all day battling against the oppressive heat, and now it's actually quite beautiful, which is sort of annoying because earlier it was brutal and I just persevered. And I probably should have just done something else inside or just sat in my pool because it was really tough. I was chopping loads and loads of pieces to size to fit into the Craic Shack frame puzzle, including the supports for under the window frame supports. I also added in some pieces on the end that are going to eventually attach into the wall for the bathroom, and then also some pieces over on the other end that will support a window over there. So it's been a lot of work, and then I also had grand plans of continuing on with the wattles, the little horizontal pieces that go across the whole structure, and I started sanding those, and then I was just thinking to myself, what the heck am I doing out here? Why am I killing myself in the sun? Why don't I have any shade cloth up? So lots of questions and no good answers, so I ended up just heading inside and doing other stuff for a while. And then it started to rain, so it was lovely, it cleared the air, and now it's actually very beautiful. But rather than pushing on with the work, I'm actually going to go out to the cafe and watch Portugal play the DR, the Democratic Republic of Congo, in the World Cup. So it's been a really fun and successful few days. I've solved the irrigation problem, and it wasn't anything like what I had planned, but I think it's actually going to end up being better, especially for someone like me who actually does love wandering around the garden and giving it a water while I look at things. Maybe it's not ideal for Chenade, but it's a good compromise, I hope. And going forward, I think that hose thing that I randomly found, I think I bought it like 4 years ago, is gonna do the trick. So I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with the progress on the Craic Shack. It seems like everything is a lot less shiggly than it was, so that's good. And I'm very, very happy to have the wood out of the house and to have these pieces to work on next time I start up again on the Craic Shack, which might be tomorrow, we'll see. So that's all for me. I'm really pleased with how everything is going. I love that we have so many figs in our life, and I'm happy to have the final garden bed planted as well. So all in all, I'm feeling really good about preparation for my trip. So I'm gonna say goodbye from this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give the video a like, And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It really does help the channel. And I'll see you in the next video.